A Guide to the Teenage Brain. Your brain sits inside your skull and is surrounded by a watery fluid. It weighs about 3 pounds and looks like a pinkish grayish walnut. Your brain is divided into 2 halves, which are called cerebral hemispheres. Each of those cerebral hemispheres is divided into 4 lobes. The frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe. These lobes are separated by grooves, which are called sulci, and bumps, which are called gyri. The sulci and the gyri help increase the surface area of the brain, allowing for more neurons. And when it is laid out flat, it's about the size of a full-page newspaper. And then when it is all crumpled up, it forms the sulci, the bumps and the grooves, and these are what help fit it inside of your skull. Each of the 4 lobes is responsible for certain things. Your frontal lobe is responsible for reasoning, planning, movement, emotions, and problem solving. The parietal lobe is responsible for the sense of touch, pressure, temperature, and pain. The occipital lobe is responsible for vision, and the temporal lobe is responsible for hearing and memory. Around the age of 12, your brain starts to restructure or change from being like that of a child to that of an adult. The physical changes that are taking place to your brain take a while to complete, and it's not until you are around the age of almost 25 before your brain is fully developed. But when you are finally fully developed into an adult, you will be a smart, independent, grown-up. The process along the way, though, can be a little bumpy. And all of these new brain changes can bring about a lot of strong feelings that you may not be used to dealing with. And one feeling that many students or adolescents feel is that of invincibility when they're in their teen years. They have a strong desire or temptation to take risks, but these risks can be dangerous. And this causes many teens to have a high rate of injury and to harm themselves and also others. The feeling of invincibility is caused by changes to your brain's reward center. Your reward center is when your brain lets you know that you've done something that it likes. When you were young, eating a piece of candy would cause your brain to release neurotransmitters called dopamine that make us feel good. So when you'd eat candy, it would make you feel good. But as you become a teen, you need to take a bigger leap or a bigger action in order to get that same release of dopamine to make you feel good. And because of this, this puts teens at risk for making bad choices. And one of the things I always tell kids is that you need to trust your gut. If your stomach feels funny or your chest feels tight, listen to that feeling, it's right. That's a definite no, stop. Another change that happens during adolescence to our brain is that it wants us to work together, to collaborate. Mother Nature knows that in order to survive, we need to work together. And because of this, sometimes teens can feel very insecure. And that's because being accepted and being with their peers becomes so important. And that's because of our brain changes. So when we feel rejected, it is very, very painful. And we need to take a minute and rethink about why we feel that we were slighted. And 9 out of 10 times, it was absolutely accidental. It wasn't done on purpose. So when we feel insecure about ourselves, we need to realize that it was not anyone's fault. During adolescence, boys produce more testosterone, which is the sex hormone that causes all the physical changes to happen during puberty. This increase in testosterone causes boys to have a much higher level of aggression. And in a very short period of time, all of a sudden, boys can go from 0 to 100 feeling mad as heck. And when this happens, they need to make sure that they get relief. And one thing that you can do is to work out hard. Go out for a run, go out for a fast power walk, punch a punching bag. Do anything where you can get that aggression out while keeping yourself and others safe. Other changes that happen for girls is the increased amount of estrogen that is produced, which can make you feel irritable or even sad. This can even happen to boys, but there is a greater intensity with girls as there is with boys with aggression. And if you feel this way, you just need to admit to yourself that it's just something that you're going through, that it will go away, and that you just need to do something to make yourself feel better. Whether it's to go out and exercise, maybe listen to music, watch a funny movie, spend time with a friend, anything that it is that you enjoy, and before too long you'll be feeling like your old self again. Changes in the adolescent brain allow them to rebel or to invent. Teens are able to see what should be, and they're also able to come up with solutions to problems. So let's take those great minds, put them to good use, and it's your turn to speak up and to help make this world a better place for all of us to live in. The last part of the teen's brain that I wanted to discuss was that different parts of the brain develop at different rates, and the frontal cortex, which is responsible for reasoning, impulse control, and planning, are the part of the brain which develop last, and those are adult behaviors. And this explains why teens are at such a great risk for acting impulsively and taking risks. And they also have a greater risk for addiction. So knowing these facts about the way your brain develops can hopefully help you as a teen think and help yourself stay safe.